No, I don't have a hog on. I'm just texting. Just fucking living. Living over here. Forgot about you, honestly. You are very forgettable in this moment. For sure. Yeah, I know. In game chat doesn't work. I played for a couple hours last night. I'm absolutely exhausted, so I apologize, but I got like no sleep. I have a damn dentist appointment today, and then Juju's gonna be here to go fishing. Should have him pick you up hardcore. You could carpool. I'm not sure hardcore's real. I feel like I've invited him fishing 94 times, and he always slips out. He's fake. Gonna IRL stream it? We might, yeah. Now that my phone will do it. It's always. Oh, whoa, whoa. This fish woke up. This fish woke up. It's always a little scary to stream. Like, I don't know if Juju's here or whatever, but it's always a little scary to stream with people you aren't, like, incredibly comfortable with. Just because, you know. I'm, and not that I'm, like, afraid he's going to get me in trouble as much as, like, I just don't want to put him in a weird position, you know? Say something. I've done that a few times where somebody gets on stream and isn't received well. The 40 meter. Oh, yeah. Got a trophy place last night. I've got a trophy turbot here. I did 1,200 silver in 2 hours last night here. Still jigging, too. Don't tell the devs. They didn't nerf my jig well enough. I got a poor beagle last night, too. Finally. This is the biggest run I've ever had. By far. Good morning, Psycho. I've had like 3 cups of coffee already. Let's fucking energy drink down, too. Is this trouble I'm in? I think that might be a tuna. I have no idea. I've only caught 1 tuna, but the way it just dropped the tension like that felt different. How was my morning meeting? Damn it. Incredible. It didn't pull this much. Oh, wow. Okay. I was just trying to guess what it was because of the. It's the first fish I've had out here fucking throw the tension like a salmon does sometimes. The Pacific coast in Costa Rica looks. This is Norway. So close. Pretty similar, I'd guess. So there is some kind of sailfish out here, but I haven't caught one. That would be sweet. Surprised to hear you say you landed big tuna like that without a run. Oh wait, that was hardcore? Hardcore. Oh wait, no, Lex said he had, or Led said he had one. I know I'm only using a Tagara, so I'm sure hardcore had a fucking wench he pulled him in with. A wrecker. I don't think I've seen any of us catch a sailfish. Or swordfish, whichever one is out here. They're like the same thing. Maybe it's just a cod or a halibut. I guess that's always possible. Doesn't feel like a fight I've had before yet, though. That's the most line I've had taken. Got a 10-foot sailfish. Nice. On your honeymoon? Did she go? Or they go? It's the drop in line that's shocking me. She did. Wow. Did you feel like this was something you both wanted, or was this a, because like this is the kind of thing I would ask for on my honeymoon, but feel selfish about. Like, yeah, let's go fishing. I want a wedding on the beach, and then we just get into a fucking boat and sail off to sea and go fishing, you know? I just want to wade out into the ocean in our fucking suit and dress. Is there a fishing Tinder? I was trying to get fucking Crane to make me a fishing Tinder, but he started working on a video game instead. Speaking of, if anyone does like choose your own adventure type games, there's a new Tron one that has Dan Lasak's music in it, so you should buy it for that reason alone. Super happy for Dan. He got to do something. He's been doing a few games with Mike Bithell, but even if it doesn't like go mega popular, it's still sweet that it's something like Tron. How would you call your, like, what would I call it? What would the name be? He was going to do Fishers only, but I don't really care. I thought about an Only Fish, too. It's OnlyFans, but you subscribe and it's just pictures of fish. It's right in the name. You made a deal. It was a trade. Okay. That's still cute. That's still respectable. I think mahi mahi is the fancy term. That's like the term that gets used outside of fishermen more than anything. You see it in restaurants and stuff labeled as that. It's also used in the cult classic Encino Man? Anyway, a Pauly Shore movie. Free mahi mahi. Free mahi mahi. That wasn't Encino Man, was it? Was that Biodome? That was Biodome, maybe? It wasn't. I don't think it was Encino Man. Just trying to figure out how a caveman would have fit into that scenario. Had to have been Biodome. It was Biodome, had to have been. I thought so. Because there's just no scenario where a caveman and a mahi mahi meet. That's why. That's the answer why. Now, if it was a lungfish. I was really disappointed in the size of the tarpons they had at the aquarium yesterday. Polly Shore. Tier lock thing for the 11 months. You don't remember Polly Shore? The weasel. And my 5 a.m. visitation was great. That tarpon in Florida was so cool. I mean, I tried to feed them a hook and some bait. But yeah, the tarpon at the aquarium were only like, I don't know, 3.5, 4 feet long. And I've seen bigger in the wild. Was disappointed. Also amazed that they lived with other fish. Because every time I've seen them in the wild, they are just insane predators. Absolutely destroying schools of baitfish. That's a run. That's a fucking run. I don't know what it is. It's not fighting like anything I've fought before, but when they get extremely big, they change quite a bit how they perform. I don't know weight-wise how big they get, but I know they get like 6, 7 feet, Atticus. Maybe even bigger than that. The one I saw was at least 6 foot. (27 meter per second) wind. Yeah, I don't think that's helping my situation either, though the wind's blowing in that direction, I'm pretty sure. Looks like a poor beagle. I caught one earlier, or yesterday. It was 7 kilos and didn't do anything. I just reeled it in. Giant shiner minnows. They are very giant shiny. I was impressed with the Arapama. Wait, why can't I say that word all of a sudden? Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. Big South American guy. Those fuckers were giant. In the aquarium, they were giant. Good morning, Lindsay. I really should have gone back to bed, but I know this is probably the only time I'm going to get to stream today. Alice ended up spending an extra night here because we got back from Chicago so late last night. Hardcore, don't scare me like that, you fucking scrub. Shame. It's like a fully repaired Tagara too. I think I had like 1% friction brake wear. So those are pretty good runs. Oh, and here we go again. Here she goes again. I hope this doesn't take too long. I can't miss my dentist appointment. I got about an hour and 36 minutes. Is there any guide you know that can help? I do not know of one specifically, Spaghetto. Uh, it is overwhelming as fuck. And there should be some gear guides out there. The problem is this is a brand new lake that might have changed things a little bit too. And the gear continues to change and evolve over however many years this game has been out. You can always join our little fishing chat here. Who gave me money? Hardcore. I think for the $20. Shame yourself. Oh, dude, I'm gonna later. I shame myself so hard. And we'll gladly give you advice, though. It does. It goes both ways, Raptors. Like, I genuinely felt like I had a decent fishing experience, but I feel like this game helped me take it to another level. Like, learning for this game helped me really put a little more time and effort into how I do my setups IRL instead of just tying something on. Chat may also have a guide for you, Spaghetto. I personally have always just tried to solve things myself because I like the pain and suffering in the 16 hours I have in this game. But I had that basic fishing experience to like at least get things lined up okay. Love the dentist. Today is our get a game plan day. We're gonna go over they did molds in my mouth, and we're gonna get a game plan of how we're gonna fix this fucking mangled mess. So pretty excited to hear how many homes I have to mortgage to fix my teeth, but yeah, this is a fight. This is by far the biggest fight I've had out here at sea. Listen to that thing click. I will agree with you, Hardcore, though I think sometimes people's solutions aren't actually accurate. I really stand by what I say all the time with this game is that there is no perfect science in Russian Fishing 4. You can really never reproduce the exact same scenario twice. It is very much like IRL fishing is. You can never really produce the same exact results twice. So Lindsay, in the nicest way possible, I feel like if Balea never gave you a trophy in 783 days, or however many days you have on Balea, if Balea never gave you a trophy, it was teaching you, and you weren't listening. You just weren't seeing the advice it was giving you, which is, I've spent 100 hours here and don't have a trophy. I need to tweak something. Rat gang. Passed her out to the other guy. I know, wouldn't that be sweet? There she goes again. This really wasn't what I needed on fucking 3 hours of sleep, but we're committed now. The damage has been done to the reel. You could go the. I think what you did though, Lindsay, is still like better than average. I think some people go the opposite direction and they're making so many changes so frequently that there's no consistency in how they're fishing to make any kind of rhyme or reason to what's working, what's not. Because this game also, you can catch a trophy doing it wrong. I believe that. My first blue tag was on a fucking mosquito lake with a potato. And like a size fucking 12 hook. And I've never been able to reproduce it. I don't think it was that I did anything right. It was that I got incredibly low. I rolled a fucking critical hit. 3 boat times I only have fish on. Yeah, you. Did it mention my boat time running out? I have spare tickets, but I have to piss so fucking bad, dude. I had 3 cups of coffee and 3 glasses of water. This will be pain and suffering if I go an hour. You might hear a muted mic and me peeing in a coffee cup. I will overflow that coffee cup. You can buy additional boat tickets though, Atticus, so that you don't have that problem. Yeah, and then there are rare species that I think trophying is going to be, some of it is going to be more RNGesus than... like trophying a lamprey. I feel like that's the kind of fish you could fucking target specifically, perfectly for a year and never get a trophy one. I also think there are some predatory species that are really hard to target because other things eat it all the time too. You're level 19 and that's all your silver. No. I will say you're most likely, Macy, as long as you don't fish incredibly poorly, you're most likely going to come back with like $1,000. The least I've heard someone come back with is $1,000. And that is that means you lost $300. I would wait until you have a supply of some other stuff personally, because some of the baits and points carry over. Like for instance, I'm using a jig right now that carries over between spin fishing and sea fishing. So I have points in that already from other fishing I was doing. Fill the beer can. Are your beer cans different than ours, Kake? Because I feel like a 12-ounce pea is pretty substandard. I've filled 20 ounces. There is nothing worse than the panic as you feel the warmth of your urine rising up the mouth of a 20 ounce and not knowing how you're going to solve this situation. Two shames in a row. That's another 20 bucks, man. You're going to go broke. I don't know how you can afford to keep losing fish like this. $17 ounces. Okay, that's a fair amount of urine. It's like an acceptable amount of pee. Ad starting soon. Goodbye, chat. Hope it's a good one. I feel like this fish is weighty. Not just a fighter, but actually really heavy. So I'm wondering if it's just a halibut. Because it's not moving even on when it's tired. I feel like the wind is enough of a pull that, or tide is enough of a pull that it's going to be a pain in the ass to get it in, even when it gets exhausted. My go-to lure IRL. Slow end finesse or quick end spinnery. My go-to nowadays is just drop shot. Like that's my go-to. Well, yeah, drop shot. Some sort of small plastic minnow is my go-to, if you want. Like, I mean, either a jig or a drop shot. If I just want to guarantee I'm putting a fish in the boat, that's the key, man. Everything eats small minnows. I love a Senko, too. I love a... Middle of summer, I love a Senko. It's hard to beat. For, again, just putting fish in the boat. But the cool thing with a small minnow is you catch just everything. Bass, pike, walleye, crappie, bluegill. I also am a sucker for a paddle tail. I don't remember which one of you told me to try fishing a paddle tail like a topwater bait. Somebody in the Florida area. Might have been Jake even. But it did me wonders last season, in the tournament season. That's how much line it's taken. Yeah, we started at 45 meters, so it's ran about 90 meters of line out. No big fish today? Well, at the moment it's looking like maybe, Ellie. No, it's just a tiny stream with tiny fish. Yeah, there's the toads. People love the toads. I really prefer the swim bait though, because I feel like it can do both so much better. Because you can like just pause it and let it drop like a... I don't love chatterbaits, and if I do run a chatterbait, I don't like a paddle tail. I think chatterbaits are fine. They're acceptable. The problem is the jackhammer is an $18 chatterbait, $16 to $18 chatterbait, and I feel like it is the only one worth throwing. All of the cheap chatterbaits suck. They are too slow to start up. They're too slow to go. And I just cannot justify throwing an $18 fucking chatterbait. I do throw a lot of swim baits on a jig, though, similar, and run them similar to a chatterbait. But I think all the other chatterbaits are garbage. I just love drop shotting, man. I just think it is the most fun bass fishing. I love the light line, finesse, fighting the fish, picking them up out of deep water. Love it. I'm too weedy for fucking Ned Rig, man. I think. I don't know. I know a few guys who throw it like in place of a jig sometimes when they feel like the bite is tough, but the majority of our fishable water is fucking 2.5, 3 feet of weeds all summer long. I cannot believe how many bald eagles are back, man. It's crazy. I didn't see one for like the in my state for like the first 20 years of my life. Longer than that. Like the first 30 years of my life. And now I see them weekly. You don't know anything about chatterbait, pharmacist? I feel like you should know about chatterbaits. I have thrown an A-rig. Um, I haven't had much luck with them. But I haven't thrown them that many times. I know they're OP. Again, though, I feel like my fishing environment is quite unique in the United States. There are places where I think an A-rig around here would shine, but I'm not quite far enough north or east to really be in smallmouth heaven, which I know they are a fucking smallmouth slayer. And like I said, I'm not far enough north or south to avoid weeds. We are just weedy hell. It's so funny to watch like bass fishing tutorials and shit on YouTube and stuff because I feel like every single one of them is like target the rocky points, and I'm like, those don't exist here. There's not a rocky point within 2 hours of driving for me. Work baits too fast. Um, this time of year you would be if you were out working shit. It depends. You have days where they'll fucking be crazy feeding. Uh, but beginning of summer, end of summer, nah, dude. I don't think there's such a thing. But I think our early season when your water's still below 60 degrees, you're gonna want to fucking run quite a bit slower. That's why like suspending jerk baits are hot. Yo-yoing a blade bait's hot. Chatterbait just low and slow. Cold water fishing is really tough, dude. Like When the bite is good, it's amazingly fun, and you get big fish. Those pre-spawn fish, those spawning fish. I mean, they're amazing fish, but it is very day to day with how active they are and where they want it and stuff like that. Especially without electronics, if you can't like see that they're suspended in schooling, you know, it can be really tough. And they're all over the place. They're not really a lot of rhyme or there is rhyme or reason, but it feels again without electronics, it feels like no rhyme or reason to where the fuck the fish are at because some of them are still in winter patterns and some of them are starting to set up for spring patterns and they really cruising. You'll get the early spawners that are running into warm water. Fucking, they'll be in 6 inches of water because it's 5 degrees warmer than the main lake. There are species too, you know, pike, walleye. They do better in the 50-degree range. That's why you're gonna catch them more in your big water too. Smallmouth do better in the cold. They'll start earlier than largemouth. If I was gonna give out one like early spring bait that'll catch a ton of fish, it would probably be just a jerk bait. Just get like a 9 foot jerk bait and go throw that fucker all over the place. And just change your cadence up every now and then, you know. Give it a fucking 3 second pause, give it a 10 second pause, just kind of throw it around and try different to see what the fish are to see how the fish are behaving. Because we had a day in February where they were just smoking the jerk bait with like 2 second pauses. I mean, they were just active as fuck. And then it was like 4 weeks of I couldn't get them to hit it unless I let that bitch sit there for 10 seconds. They fluctuate a lot in the spring. It's chatterbait. It's one word. Chatterbait. Yeah. Also known as a chatterbait is a brand of a lure called a bladed jig, but like literally the only bladed jig that anyone gives a fuck about is the chatterbait. Z-Man's chatterbait. Z-Man's chatterbait. Yeah, see, summertime you can run a jerkbait that fast, hardcore, but in the spring, I'd recommend at least like a 2 or 3 second pause. And like I said, as much as like a 10 second pause sometimes when it's really cold or when they're just really lethargic. But once the summer hits, you can fish a lot more like saltwater. And I said this yesterday. Like the thing I noticed as a fisherman going to an aquarium for the first time, like really feeling like a fisherman and going to an aquarium for the first time, the thing I noticed the most between the tanks was the freshwater fish chill as fuck. Like there was a crappie tank, and every single crappie was completely stationary, staring in the exact same direction. And I was like, "Yep, that's crappie fishing. It's literally just this suspended school of fish just sitting there, waiting for something to happen." And you go to a saltwater tank, and the fish are just nonstop, constantly moving in and out of shit, in and out of anemones and reef, and just nonstop, right? Where the freshwater fish, even the bass and stuff like that, were very chill. They did not cover a lot of water. I think this is a very heavy lead because it is tough to move it. Yeah, rooster tail, rattle trap, Senko. Chatterbait. What are some other brands that just dominated the? I mean, Rapala still for the amateur. The amateur fisherman still just says Rapala for like any hard plastic bait. A lot of brands have really dominated. Silver Buddy, you hear that one used constantly anytime someone brings up a blade bait, but I haven't seen like a true Silver Buddy in decades. The Popar. I think that one bugs me the most with bass fishing is they don't just call it a popper, they call it Popar because of the brand. And they always sound like a fucking pirate when they say it. Yeah, you know, I was out there with the Popar. Another one that really bugs me with fishermen is when they say hard water and soft water to represent ice and not ice. Because, like, who the fuck abbreviates something or nicknames something way longer? Like, ice is 3 letters. Why are you going to call it fucking hard water? Oh, square bill's another decent one this time of year, hardcore. Run a slow square bill. Right now, though, like with the weather we've had, they should be pushing shallow. So yeah, like a square bill, like a on your side of the world, I'd run like a fucking craw-colored square bill and just run it kind of slow. Maybe occasionally burn it just to see if anything happens. A square bill. So there are lures called crankbaits that their whole purpose is cast them out, reel them in, cast them out, reel them in. They don't require any actions or anything extra. And they have a lip on the front of them that sets their depth. So as you reel them in, that lip pulls the bait down to a certain depth. And a square bill is describing the bill, the lip, or the bill on the crankbait and how it dives and performs. And burning is going really, really fast. Burn it, you know? But crankbaits are very good search baits because you can, their whole purpose just throw them out, reel them in, throw them out, reel them in. So you can cover a lot of water, like fan casting, cover a lot of water, and they all have variable set depths. So like, if you look down at your electronics and go, I'm in 40 foot of water, you grab your 40-foot crankbait. That's not a thing that I know of, but they might exist in giant fashion for like the ocean. I very rarely use Rapala. I use Rapala jerk baits some, but I very rarely use actual Rapala. Nothing against them, I like a lot of fat body cranks. Yeah, there's a reason trolling is banned from tournaments, Atticus. It's incredibly effective. People act like trolling for bass isn't a thing, but it is wildly effective. Throw out a couple of fucking 10, 12-foot crankbaits and go for a little stroll around the lake. They're also great for crappie. One of my favorite things in the world to do is to troll for crappie at night with small fat body crankbaits, a medium small. I feel like at nights you get a lot more crappie, and you don't got to worry about getting eaten off by a pike. I've still yet to catch a post-sunset pike. I feel like you probably only would be successful with live bait, but I don't know. Maybe a good moon. They say pike aren't very good night vision. I'm about to piss my pants. Can't wait to catch this fish. I also thought it was really funny at the museum. They had this entire display of like invasive species that have gotten into our Great Lakes, but they left out salmon. Technically, salmon aren't invasive. We put them there, but they're non-native. They had this whole non-native thing with like guppies and alewives and. But they had alewives, which I thought alewives were only introduced because of the salmon, or maybe the salmon were introduced to help deal with the alewives. Yeah, suckers and things like that aren't native. Guppies are little idiots. I'd never seen them in a tank before to see how they really perform, and now I get why smallmouth fucking love them. They're basically a crayfish without the pinchy parts. Do you? For bait? Guppies or gobies? What's the difference? Aren't ours freshwater gobies? I caught one ice fishing this year. That freaked me out. I was confused as hell. It's a good fish, hardcore. Those help pay the bills. I really want to grow some of my own minnows. No, I'm talking about gobies. Specifically gobies. They're an invasive species that have gotten in the Great Lakes solely because we used them as bait. Okay. Oh my god. Oh, it is a halibut. Never mind. I thought it was something else, but I forgot halibut's just a big dumb flatfish. It's not even that big, is it? Oh, he looks a little bigger when he turns. Why don't you just be a blue tag turbot instead? No, that's a halibut. Stupid halibut. He looks a lot bigger now all of a sudden. Ain't worth the time or the damage to my reel. How long did that take? Yeah, no way that's worth it. Big fish, though. Off. Oh, is it trophy 5 kilos higher than that? 55? Oh, no, what you guessed. Never mind. I was going to say, isn't trophy like hundreds of kilos? They taste great? Yeah, I can't. There's not Tasto gaming. I'm going to leave this here and go pee. It'll be fine. Nothing will bite it. Yeah, the problem with those is I think they sell for like 150 silver, which sounds good, but when you take 45 minutes, it costs 100 silver to be in the boat for an hour. And then it did what to my rod or my reel? Like 1.5% to my reel. Not worth it. Wow, nice spotted in a row. Very nice. It was a 51 kilogram halibut. Yeah, spotteds are good money, man. Like an 11 kilo one was like 200 silver. How many trophies you got out here, Hardcore? Just to save. Highest ticket fish you can get out here? I'm going to guess it's the Greenland shark. I'm not certain, but that's my guess. The porbeagle's pretty good. Those anglers might be really good if they got big. I'm not sure. The tuna probably is crazy. I've only caught like a 7 kilo and it paid well. I don't think I've even seen a football fish. Or maybe one. I haven't seen a sardine either. Or a sorry. Soury? Not sorry. Not Canadian sorry. Oh, really? One so far in the USA period? That's crazy. I really haven't played around deep. And I'm sure there's just a big... And really shallow. I noticed I was catching a lot of those eel pouts in like 20 meters of water from shore. And then I read about them and it says they prefer like under 30 meters. Which is interesting because they look just like the wolffish and the cusks, but apparently they're a shallower version, more like a bowfin. So that might be the same case with the footballs or something too. They're either... I feel like more people have gone crazy deep than have gone crazy shallow. Like anyone fish like fucking this 10 meter? I haven't. I feel like everybody I know has fished the 215 meter. Yeah, I thought it was an obvious deep water fish. It's like an angler, isn't it? Always getting taken. That's how I feel with pilker in general. If you're using a pilker, that's why I don't use them much. The catch rates are great, but they're too unreliable. As in, you're going to get a bunch of mackerels and shit, which is fine, I think, for skilling up. Probably better for skilling up, which is what most of us are after at the moment. I'm about to hit 50, which is another hook for my pilker rig. It is a lanternfish. Yeah, I thought so. The other one that's shockingly good money in that smaller that I get on the Pilker is the whitings. Even at like 500 grams, those things are like over 10 silver. Or way over even, maybe like 20. 6 days off work, congratulations. Not a fish. I want to move forward. This, for being a random bait I bought, has done pretty well for me. I honestly, I feel that way like everything. I can't remember if this is what I got the trophy. I know this is what I got my trophy place on. I think my trophy turbot came on a glow-in-the-dark maggot. Yeah, it did. Because Hardcore wanted his pay. 3 days and 3 nights. And then 6. Wait, what? 3 plus 3 is 6, or you get 3, 3, and then 6. That would be 12? Or 9? I don't know. Who got coffee? Anonymous. I have not tried trolling, because I wanted to take advantage of what was working while it was working. Russian fishing is a game that pays pretty close attention to the economy, and they already did some nerfs. I realize now this has been garbage. This will be my worst boating experience or fishing experience out here with that halibut. And I think I've thrown back like 2 or 3 small ones. Oh, sweet Hardcore. We did. It was a 51 kilo halibut. These are Norwegian waters. We've moved. Don't let the name confuse you. I'm sure fish species. Yeah. I haven't seen, like I said, I haven't seen any sailfish caught or tuna, and I gotta assume both of those probably love a quicker retrieve. I've also caught 2 fish on accident reeling in at like as fast as possible out here. I do believe that we will find someday when we are willing to invest more time in science and less in just getting the grind on that some retrieval techniques are really good for certain species. What's going on though? Why am I not catching anything? Time for a bait change. Yeah, there's tap water. I have a big hook on there, huh? There's a pink one of those, I think. Oh, it's an insane game to veg out to, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you got your spinners, your spoons, all your different, what they call wobblers, crankbaits, jerkbaits. Though they don't use a jerkbait. I've never seen a jerkbait technique work. Top water wobblies. All your soft plastics. No, I went by poppers. They're under wobblers. They kind of just everything that's plastic kind of just gets lumped in the wobbler category apparently in Europe. They've got like wobblers and stick baits, or poppers and stick baits for top water, and then some rodents. I don't think they did any big saltwater or big top water stuff for the salt. It's all pretty small stuff. Did I like go way up in size? I did. Morning, Echo. Lynn, you're letting me down with your huge minnow. At least I'm not catching fucking the roach of the sea. Raptors is either getting bit off or catching shorthorn sculpins. I will say, I feel like my biggest complaint with RF4 is they haven't really embraced some Americanized fishing. Like they still seem to be pretty hard on big lures and big hooks and stuff like that. And in my experience watching European YouTubers, they feel like carp fishermen is what they feel like. I feel like the game is really like carp at heart. Like I think the biggest live bait hook they had was like a 2-aught or something like that. I put fucking worms on a 2-aught, dude. 2-aught is small for me. I fish with bluegill the size of my hand and a 10-aught hook, and I'm not fishing for things nearly as big as we catch in this game. That might be a legality, Lindsay. I have no idea. That one should be illegal, honestly. I don't really love any technique that has a very low chance of potential catch and release. Yeah, that is how a lot of people catfish there, which is sad. Because you should just use a circle hook instead. But people are still not persuaded, even though saltwater guys have proven for fucking decades now how good the circle hook is with live bait and hookup rates. Huh. Where'd my fish go? But yeah, I don't love techniques that have incredibly high kill rates and incredibly low catch and release rates. I mean, I get it in the south for catfish because y'all gonna eat them all anyway, probably, most likely. But that shit got brought up here to the north, and we don't eat them. And I see so many people fucking gut hooking catfish with a treble hook, and then pretending like that fish isn't gonna die the minute they put it back. Even if you're gonna eat everything, I still think circle hook is a better choice because you can get them out so much easier. Get the hook out so much easier. Fish is food. The problem is when it's out of season and you have to throw back a dead fish. Or a turtle. If you fished fucking dead bait or cut bait on a treble hook, you've caught turtles. Or a worm. People just can't get used to not setting the hook. Even though they don't need to set a hook with the treble anytime. Half the time they pick it up, they didn't need to set the hook anyway with the treble hook. They just like to. Put the wood to 'em, boys! I really never set the hook with the treble anymore. I don't feel like I lose more fish than I get. Just put some weight into it. I've caught about every species under the sun now on a circle hook. I'm incredible. I have all the faith in the world in them. Bass, walleye, drum, carp, catfish, pike. Offset hooks. There's lots and lots of different offset hooks, pharmacist. So it would depend on the like every hook has an offset version. I don't use offset hooks. I don't feel like they do anything for me. I actually feel like they're worse in circle hooks. I hate an offset circle hook. I feel like the hookup rate is lower. Might just be in my head. So I use them for nothing. Never. Don't support them. I should be too, Mini. I got like 3 hours of fucking sleep last night. I'm exhausted. Got a long day ahead of me too. Dentist, some fishing. Favorite hook brand? I like Mustad trebles. My favorite treble. God, what is the brand I'm trying to think of right now? You think I know it? Gamakatsu's fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with them. But it is not my favorite for standard hooks. It's Downer. I like Downer hooks a lot. They're cheaper than Gammas, and I feel like they're just as good. And I like a lot of their dull coatings. I do not resharpen hooks, no. I don't, my hooks don't last that long. Trebles do, I replace trebles. I just replace them. But my regular hooks just don't last that long. I always go for one more fish. That's the problem, you know? And what I mean by that is when you're using monofilament or fluorocarbon line and you don't retie after 5, 6, 15 fish because you think your line looks fine, and then you fucking lose it. Breaks. You set the hook and you got nothing. You end up like Wayne there. Even though bass don't have teeth, they have sandpaper mouths. And enough of them in a row choking your bait wears that line out. And I don't run any... I ain't gotta call you out like that, I'm sorry. Andy's oyster resistant monofilament. Never retie. I don't believe you. Not at the... does Andy's even make low enough pound that I would run it? Like drop shotting I run 6, 7 pound. Yeah, see. I rarely go over 10 pound unless and then if I'm going over 10 pound, I'm going braid usually. Braid to leader. And then I don't have a problem. If it's over 12 pound, I don't have a problem anyway. The problem is the small shit I'm running. We have a lot of clear water fisheries, man. Like just, I mean, 12, 14 foot visibility. So I really enjoy and feel like I am more successful running 8 pound and lower. Yeah. Oh, for sure, hardcore. I caught, or well, my buddy caught a 39-inch pike, and I caught, oh, fuck off, a 21-inch walleye this year on 4 pound, and cannot believe we got them both in because we were crappie fishing. Yeah, you were waiting for that one. Yeah. Called back out. Though I go the complete opposite way when I don't think line matters, I go the complete opposite way. Like if I'm running braid, if I'm running anything that's like a fast moving bait, if I'm running braid, I'm running 50 pound. So it's not like I'm one of those guys who tries to just always stay small. I do feel like visibility matters in really slow techniques. Not to mention, even maybe more so than visibility, thick line moves different. Like when you really want to get like a robo worm, or like a 4-inch robo worm to just fucking wah, 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 and do its thing underwater, uh, like 6-7 pound fluoro is the shit. You put that on 12 pound mono, and it's stiff as shit. Yeah, I don't fuck with pike and muskie on braid. Braid cuts the easiest of all of them. An easy way to explain rod and line. So I've never once in my life seen a rod tell you how many pounds it can hold. I don't believe they do. I think that's a video game exclusive thing. Line is, yes, supposed to be how much pull on the line before it snaps. Good night, Tommy. Dude, the fishing is just dead. I don't know what happened. I gotta swap. Fisherman's Knot for the win? No, Fisherman's Knot's trash, and I'll never use it again. That's not true. I use it occasionally in a hurry, but it's garbage. Your rod says 5 to 10 pound. That's the line that it wants you to have on your rod. And in a sense, I guess that's telling you, hey, dog, don't put 20 pounds on the end of this rod. The polymer knot is the knot. There is no better. And like science proven. The Fisherman's Knot like genuinely has pretty low numbers for strength. So yeah, that's the thing about line. Line is relevant to what your drag on your reel is set at, and the quality of your fishing reel. So that's why, like, if every bass fisherman out there has a rod that says like 10 to 15 pound line or whatever, and they're running 50-pound braid on it, like any serious bass fisherman, we don't ever intend to lift a 50-pound fish. And because even if we wanted to, even like the strongest bass fishing reels I know of are like 23 pounds. The reel itself can't lift 23 pounds. So like that's the thing with this game that people struggle with where they break gear, is figuring out that everything is a balance. And all pieces have to work together or it doesn't matter. I've never broke a mech. Not true. I did break a mech once, but it was a fucking like $15 Walmart rod. I was snagged and just put my hand on top of the reel and pulled, and it fucking popped the reel in half. I'm gonna call that a mechanism break. And that's why high dollar reels are a thing and exist. And I tell people, like, are they worth the money? Yes. But are they worth the money to the average fisherman? No. Um, but say you set your drag to 8 pounds on a cheapo reel, the drag is gonna be jerky and skippy, and it's never gonna be this smooth, fluid 8 pounds of pull to pull line out of your reel. It's gonna go get. Um, on a $300 reel, it's gonna just sing perfectly out of your reel at exactly what you want it set at, right? But the majority of fishermen aren't really setting their drag to their line for the type of fish they're fishing, because that's important too. Broken his first ever hook set. Yeah, it had I guarantee you it had a nick or a chip or a bing. Like, I've seen tons and tons of rod tests, dude. People driving like mini bikes attached to a fishing pole and not breaking them. But yeah, all of my rods I broke, knock on wood, have been because I closed something on them. A fucking boat lid or a door, car door, house door. Pretty much a door. Yeah, we just had a kid do that last year in our league, Lindsay. Not 140 grand, but sunk like probably 60 grand into a boat, all the fanciest electronics, all the best gear. And then I think he placed once and he sold it and bought a walleye boat. Which is funny with the walleye scandal from last year, too. Well, shit, you don't even gotta be good. Just shove lead in them. We don't take your rods through doors anymore. Sometimes you just have to. In a door, yeah. Cheating scandal. It was spicy. Except it was walleye fishing, so, like, who cares? And, like, I think as much as it's embarrassing for the guys that got caught, I think it's also incredibly embarrassing for walleye fishing that they got away with it. Ever. Especially, like, for those that don't know, in bass tournaments, the bass are kept alive. The goal is to release the bass alive. In walleye tournaments, the walleye are kept dead. It's intentional. They are kept dead on purpose. So, like, it should be really easy to check fish for foreign objects when they're already dead. Yeah, the Erie cheaters. Well, they cheated all over the place. Is the assumption now? That's the thing that really, if they were ever honest men, they lost all their wins, and I mean they were like the most winning walleye team for years now. So no, walleye aren't invasive; they're native. Yeah, the depth kills them quickly. That's why they just bring them back dead anyway. Plus, they're delicious. They're like literally served in restaurants all over the Midwest. At least I've never been in a restaurant where they're serving largemouth bass. You're just not gonna see that one on the average menu. You will see walleye on a lot of Midwest menus. I mean, I think you can even get farm raised walleye. I think you can even just buy it, right? Only a sea bass, which is the sea bass isn't even really a sea bass. It doesn't have some stupid name. Like Chilean sea bass is actually something awful, like the Patagonian toothfish. Why did I remember that? I don't know. What are the shoes you wore to Chicago? I don't know. I don't remember what shoes I wore yesterday. I would guess they were either purple Chucks or I've got some like low top tan something. I don't know what brand they are. The brown ones? I think they're like, I bought them like on a whim for a dance for my daughter. I think they're like Levi. Where? Yeah, there they are. Yeah, they're Levi. I needed a brown shoe for the dance, so. I tried to convince an old lady to let me keep some fish in her boat for a tournament. Like, you know, I was mostly joking, unless she said yes. But she wouldn't do it. That is a thing they say guys do in local tournaments, is hide fish in cages and then go pick them up. But I think I got them at Target Pharmacist, and they're Levi. Or maybe it was Kohl's, and they're Levi. They were like 30 bucks. Yeah, buddy. I am in Michigan. I have never fished for lake trout. We have a couple of lakes around here that have them, as well as obviously Lake Michigan. But what the fuck? It popped right off. Yeah, there's a lake like literally just on the road from me that has them. I just never have gone after them. I already fish for so many species, dude. It's expensive. What time is my appointment at? Trout are great smoked. Yeah, a lot of mixed reviews on trout. I guess they're incredibly fatty. I just want to catch them because they're giant, and I haven't. I don't know how big ours get in the inland lakes, but I think pretty decent still. I know they get out there with these big green lights at night and fucking try to jig them up in like 100 foot of water. Yeah, I think they say you're not supposed to eat too many of them. Like, it's an unhealthy fish to eat a ton of because they're like all fat. And that is part of why they smoke them more. It's because it breaks down the fat. So, I don't know. I'm not that big of a fish eater, just a fish catcher. It's I'm in a bunch of salmon groups on Facebook, and it's like this big argument constantly between the salmon guys and the trout guys. Throw those fatty bastards away. Better than any salmon I've ever had. I like to watch old men fight. I have a great time catching all fish. That's the problem. I have way too much shit. And not nearly enough money. Or time. I have not had an eel, but I've heard great things about eel. I gotta change it up. This is just horrible, dude. I have 7 fish in my keep net. That is, like, insanely bad. I did so good earlier. What happened? Why do you do this to me, devs? Maybe it's because my fish is all worn out. No, I'm right here. I've fished all through this knob. I don't feel like I'm seeing a lot of fish get caught by anybody. Either everybody's gone or it's slowed down for everybody. Let's blame the 4 degrees and sunny. That's very cold and sunny. A tiny fish. Be a place. It's about the only thing worth any money. Oh no, I'm Raptors. Maybe I need to switch to Led's Pilker setup. See if that just gives me the bite rate I want back. Because I'm so close to 50%. Of course it's a cod. What else would it be? Yeah, they're really an unfun fish. I hope they get the catfish treatment and get adjusted a little bit. You can fish my 70-meter hole, baby. Holy shit, I'm gonna have a long day, chat. I should have slept. I shouldn't have gone live. I should have slept, but I need to go live. Please appreciate me. I'll just die. I think today I'll die. More coffee? Dude, my gut is already not happy with me. Bunch of coffee and now an energy drink. What do I have to do? I have to go to the dentist. And then Bad Juju's coming over to go fishing. And I'm gonna feel real bad when I pass out on him at like 9 p.m. Like, not on him. That would be weird. We're friends or whatever, but not that close. Well, I got done last night at like around 2 or something, and then I had company coming over at like 5, so I couldn't sleep. I kept waking up. And then they showed up, and then I couldn't sleep after they left, and now I'm all fucked up. Hid the towel behind the headboard? I did not. No. Still don't believe in that one. Would I ever offer fishing lessons? Absolutely not. But you could come fishing with me anytime you wanted. For free. That's how Juju came fishing with me. He's just one of the few people that was like, yeah, dude, I'll do it. And now we've fished together. This will be like the 4th time he's showed up at my house. I don't have a P.O. box. I should get one again. I've said that for years, though, so I probably won't. No promises. Is the fact that I haven't been murdered yet is the cherry on top? I know. Thank you. Like, I feel like. Okay, I'm lying. I was gonna say I feel like everybody I've had over, like I felt like I knew them well enough that I wasn't too worried about getting murdered. But that's just not true. I think it would be hilarious if he killed me this time. I told him that in messages, cause like nobody would think it was him. Who's gonna murder somebody the third or fourth time they meet? You know? If he was gonna do it, why wouldn't he have done it the first time? So it'd be really funny if he killed me on the third or fourth time he visited. Like we don't catch anything, and he's just like, ah, fuck it, and kills me. Love that for him. Also, like 3 years ago, I did a fishing road trip where I just like opened up my Discord and said, "Tell me where you live, and if you're on the way, I'll stop and we'll go fishing." And I just stopped all over the place, random people's houses. Some of them I didn't know at all. Like I'd never even seen them chat. I have enough life insurance, not enough to get my fish statue I want. I saw that statue outside the aquarium yesterday, and that's it. That's the one, dude. Just me hugging my biggest catch ever. Steal it? It was really large, and it didn't look like me. I would like it to be me hugging a fish. My fish. Didn't look like me or my fish. I feel like starting from scratch would probably be just as useful as having some sculptor fix this statue. My biggest fish holding me? They did kind of look like they were holding each other. I think I might have to turn the air conditioning on today. I think it's supposed to be like 80. Yeah. It's 77 right now. Oh, wait, no. 74. Gonna be 77 in an hour. AC for 77? Uh, yeah, definitely. 77 degrees is far too hot. But also, it's 77 and sunny, meaning my asphalt roof is going to turn my house into 85 degrees. What is that in Celsius? I don't know. 70 or be 20, high 20s, mid to high 20s, right? Temperature in Celsius is still, or Celsius is still the thing I'm like the worst at with metric. Yeah, that's what I thought. Mid to high 20s. That's hot, dude. Whoop. Hey there, small redfish. I don't think you're that small. I think you're a fine quality guy. Alright, chat. I have a dentist appointment, but I snuck in 2 hours for you. We caught one big fish. It was a bad fish stream. Sorry I'm so tired. But, you know, I had company. I'll be back. And I'm going to try to do some streaming from my phone now that I got a new phone. Jack said one of my viewers is going to be here to fish with me. You should all be here. If you weren't such fucking cowardly babies, you'd all be here. We could just load up a boat. 12 of us hooking each other. Good luck on your interviews, Ev. You got this. Easy. Confidence, but not too confident. Confident, not arrogant. On your way from Middle Europe? I mean, you can make it. Thank you for the subs. Tips. No bits. I appreciate you. We'll talk soon. Lots to talk. Things to say.